Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Similarly Different. I got a few requests on what I should talk in the next few episodes, and one request that I got quite a few times was friendships. Now, your girl has been blessed to have some amazing people in her life, but in the mix of the amazing, there has been some questionable, some lessons, and some never again. So I figured I'll talk about this on this episode in case you are going through a mourning of a friendship, if you're going through a question mark of what is happening in the friendship, as well as how do I go through this, or even how to know how to associate certain friendships. I think that it depends what age group you're in. It depends where you are in life. How are you doing in your life? And I do believe that friendships are a big part of who we are and a reflection of ourselves. So just like you want to grow and be better, I personally think that you should have people around you that also have similar traits and ways of being. Now, some of my friends that I have are literally night and day different from me, but when it comes to our moral compass and our want to be better, that is very similar. So we can be similarly different in that aspect. Now, I think it's very healthy for you to have different types of friendships. And I actually tell this to my sister a lot, who is 10 years younger than me. She's in college life. So if you're listening and you're in college, you obviously meet so many people throughout this time in your life, or even in your early 20s. You just transition from going to high school and having, the everyday routine to then college. You start meeting new people. You may have moved, or maybe you're in your mid 20s, early 30s, and you shifted. You started a new job. You moved to a new city, a new state. You changed relationships, romantic partners. So now you're meeting new people because you're either going through a single, a breakup, or, just changes in your life. And you start meeting new friends, and one of two things happen. You're either really scared to get close to people, or you want everyone to be your bestie. And I think that both are not the greatest. One, you can't close yourself off to everyone and expect to have new people in your life, because you're just not inviting. Just like if you were trying to date and you're closing everyone off, you're not giving anybody an opportunity. But in the same token, if you are letting everyone in and also to the same level, it can cause a lot of things that are going to be more negative than positive. So people can overuse you. People can think you have no boundaries because you actually may have and be lacking in boundaries. People will get used to what you are giving them and not value it. And then also the relationship doesn't grow in a healthy level. So I recently told my sister, I said, you should have social friends. You should have friends that are in your dorm floor. You should have friends that you go and work out with. You should have friends that are literally low maintenance friends that you can sit on the couch and you don't have to do anything. And then you have your core friends. Your core friends are the ones that if you are going through family problems, if you're going through self problems, if you are going through mental health, and even more particular financial or family, those are the people that if you're going to share anything with, that's who you share it with. Your floor room of your dorm, the people in your class that it's like your fun friend in, I don't know, what's a college course, because I dropped out of college, but like chemistry, you don't really share those things with. The girls that you go out on Friday night and you're just going to have drinks, you don't share those things with them because you are not getting to know them in that level. Therefore, you don't talk to them to that level. And you're not going to treat somebody as a husband that you would just have as a friends with benefits. So kind of in a relationship form, it's like the same essence in friendships. And sure, friendships can evolve, but I think that time is of the essence to really grow a friendship and give it time to really grow that trust and not give it so easily. Another thing is that not every friendship has to have the same access to you. So your friends that you normally go out with and that's who you go out and party, if you're having a mental health day, you don't need to answer that call. It's okay to just push them to the side. I remember in therapy, I was taught this a while ago from having codependency issues, that your relationships are like onion layers. Your first layer and your seventh layer have space. And in that space, it's time, trust, and access to you. So if you have a friend in layer 1 or 2, did they earn their space there? And what I mean by earn is, doesn't mean they're buying you things or all that stuff. It's just time, showing that they show up for you, showing that they're actually there for you without you needing to buy it from them, and seeing that they actually care about you, not the facade, not what can you do for them, not are you introducing them to guys, are you always giving them the notes in your class, are you picking them up or dropping them off, and that's why they're your friend. That is a friend of convenience, and that you are giving something, and that's why they're your friend. But are these people in layer 1 and 2 truly your ride or dies that you could tell things to and it's not going to go out of there, that they have your best interest at heart, that there is no jealousy, whether you excel in life or you start a relationship, that there is no jealousy depending on where they are in their life? And then layer 5, 6, 7, etc., those are just, you could be a good person, you could be a vibe, you could be a fun time, but that's where you stay. I don't necessarily invite you to family gatherings. I might invite you to my birthday, but I'm not telling you, when I am fighting with possible family members or my partner, or I'm not going to you for advice for those topics, because those are very core and centered topics of mine that I protect. I'm not telling you my finances if you're behind in school, or if you're having a hard time paying for rent. Like, those are not the friends you're sharing that to at all. And even if you are sharing it, you should be very careful of how often and who you're sharing it with, if you have decided to share it with someone that you placed in level 1 and 2. Now, another thing I wrote on here was seasons change and friendships may do so as well. Now, listen, I am the first one to tell you that I would get into fights with my mom from morning to night when I was getting out of high school, telling her, you don't understand my friendships. My friendships are going to be here until the end of time. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about. And then college hit. I started dating my longest long-term relationship, and my friends shifted. Why? Our habits, our hobbies, and the things that I started finding interest in, they were different. They were going to college life. Some of them were moving. Some of them were really interested into just casually dating. And I got into a serious relationship and I started building a business, and our similarities were just so far-fetched from each other that I couldn't relate to them and they couldn't relate to me. Even till this day, I don't know if she listens to this podcast, so if she does, then she'll find out how I feel about it. But even to this day, my childhood best friend and I, most recently, and when I say most recently, like in May of this year, stopped talking. And it's a friendship that her and I have cultivated and tried to push through with for years, even though there were so many differences in our lives. And I think it came to a point, which is what I'm going to base it as, because there was genuinely no problem, that we realized that our lives are so different. There is nothing for us to relate in. She is a first grade teacher. I am in LA. She is in Florida. She is with a partner and she lives her life a certain way. I am currently single, but when I have been with a partner, I go about it a different way. Our habits, our hobbies are just so totally different that it got to a point that we were talking to each other and we had nothing to talk about. Even the things that she was excited for, I could be excited for her, but it wasn't a natural excitement than if it was for things that I could relate in. And I think with that, some friendships shift because you start realizing that you grow out of habits, or people go into habits that you are not fond with, and I'm talking in the negative term, but other times you just grow apart, and there could be love. There's no love lost in there, but you just grow apart. And does it suck? Is it sad? Yeah, but it's life. You still don't talk to your friend from second grade, 98% of you, or 99.9% of you. You also don't talk to the girl that you maybe ran into one night drunk at the bar and had a great conversation and talked about how both of your boyfriends were probably outside and were shitty men. Wish her well, but you're not trying to force a friendship. And I think it's important to not force a friendship. I understand there's a difference between forcing and communicating. I do believe that a friendship deserves communication if it is going stagnant, but also not always resorting to it having to live longer than it needed to. There has been friendships of mine that have fallen out that we only got close because of the person I was dating at the time, or the person they were dating at the time was a close friend of mine. And we got close. Things didn't work out, obviously, to respect both parties in either story. Space was given, and then the relationship faded. If I see them, hey, how are you? But it no longer is to the level as to it was at one point, and that's okay. Also, knowing when friendships are drifting in your growth. Now, we talk about growth a lot on here and people giving people grace. And I think as we get older, the lack of accountability is something that I just don't have the ability to give an excuse for. So at 21, we do certain things. We're not that knowledgeable. We're not that wise. At 33, if we're still doing things that we were doing at 21, sis, what are you doing? What are you doing, and when are we going to grow out of it? Because I do genuinely believe that all my friends around me want the best for me, even if that puts me above them or in front of them to any capacity. And I can tell you that every single friend of mine that I love and care for, if they are bigger than me, if they get more successful than me, if they get higher than me, I am so proud for them, because all my friends are really hard workers. All my friends strive to be the best that they can, and I want that for them. But if I am outgrowing you because I am moving up and you are staying stagnant by your habits, by your hobbies, whether it be work, financial, relationships, self, there has to be a point that I think I've come to now at my age that I can no longer coddle you by being your friend, because I am doing you a disservice by being your friend and allowing you to be in that way. I have had friends from all walks of life throughout my life. So I think that coming into this mindset now at this age has been something that I've been trying to walk through slowly. I never want anyone to feel abandoned. But when I was going through my divorce, there was something that my therapist told me once, which was I continued conversating and having a relationship with my ex-husband of emotion, meaning he would come to me whenever he needed to talk to someone, and he would be like, but you understand me and you know the real me, and da 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 da. And while I agree with that, it was no longer my responsibility to take that on. So in this instance, if I want you to be better, if we have talked about it, if you have said that you wanted to be better in this category or that category, but you are continuing those patterns rather than shifting and becoming better and working on ways to be better and break those, I have to step away, because as much as I love you, I have to love myself as well, and know that me sitting in that with you is also blocking blessings, doors, and abundance that can come into my life, because I am focusing on trying to be the best version of myself in this moment. And you are saying that, but you are not moving on it. And how long can you go and be next to somebody where you're wanting them to be better, you're wanting them to stop with the toxicity, you're wanting them to stop with the bad habits, and they're just not? And somehow that will bring you down, because it's like if you're in a little mini pool, is the way I see it, and you guys are pouring each water, but every time you guys are pouring a new jug of water, hers is a little brown, or his is a little brown. And it doesn't matter, because you guys are both doing the work, right? But they're doing the work with the toxicity, with the bad habits, with the, the patterns that they haven't stopped, whether it be, with that toxic ex, whether it be dating multiple people, whether it be not being financially smart because they have gambling habits or shopping habits, or this, like at that point, or saying that they want more for themselves, but going and, taking the lower end of the stick because they're lazy. Yet you're over here busting your butt and trying to be the best, and they're not in their own right for their own self. And that is a lack of, self for them that they have to focus on. And I do believe you can be a great implemental figure in people's life, but it's also not your job to carry them. And I think that that's when you have to start shifting and saying, these things are no longer of interest for me, but it continues being of theirs, and I'm no longer seeing the connection. Like, there's people in the past that all they would ever want to talk about is about other people. And if you know me, I'm not one to badmouth people. Like, I just think it's a waste of time. And if I have something I'm going to say about someone, it's because I have or will say it to their face. And it's not in any derogatory way. It's just, this person did this, I didn't like it, blah, blah, blah. So if I'm calling you every time and you're telling me gossip about this person, that person, you know, apartment 102, apartment 104, apartment 107 as examples of like different people in your life, why are you so caught up on all these people? And why are you not caught up in being the best version of yourself wherever you need to be? You know, like, have you looked in the mirror at your own flaws before you go and like plaster a whole magazine of everybody else's? And I just think after some time it just gets old. So understanding if you have the same habits with the current friends that you're at, or are you actually shifting apart, because that does happen as you grow and evolve and try to be and get better in life. Also, you have to know when a friendship is worth fighting for or when it's time to let them go. And I think this kind of coincides with everything that I just said earlier of understanding of sometimes you got to check your friend, because sometimes they get blinded by it. But if a person loves you and knows that you love them, they'll take your constructive criticism or your observation into account and love you for the fact that you said it. Obviously, tone, the words that you use, the timing and the place all go hand in hand on it. And you have to have a lot of wisdom of when to bring that conversation forward. But it is so important to know when a friendship is worth fighting for. I have fought for a friendship for quite a few years, and it's come to realization recently that it's a friendship that I don't think I should be in. And it's a friendship that doesn't bring me joy. It's a friendship that doesn't bring me inspiration. I feel like I constantly have to dumb myself down or keep my successes to a minimum in mentioning them when I'm around this person because of their lack of what they're doing in their life or what's happening in their life, and me not feeling like, oh, well, you're not going to have anything to share back, or like, oh, like, are they going to feel weird because of this? And I'm not that way when it comes to my friends having success before, during, or right now. But I think it's because I've always had the mentality that, like, if I love you and you're succeeding, heck, I'm going to be in that plane with you. Because I love you and you know that I'll be the assistant, I'll be the photographer, I'll be the videographer, I'll be whatever you need because I want you to succeed. And all my friends around me in the same token, if I'm about to be on a red carpet and my friend's not going, she's helping me oil up my legs, helping me get ready. You need me to go shoot BTS for you? I'll shoot BTS for you. And in that same token, whenever I am on that private jet, for better terms, they're sitting in those chairs with me. But if I have a friend that I feel like they want to sit in that chair, but kind of like sit in that chair and act like they got invited on the plane, not because of me, but because of the airline or the pilot, that's a problem. Because now it's no longer that you're sitting on that plane seat, on that private jet, because you're happy for me. You're sitting on that private seat trying to show everyone else around you that you got invited by the pilot, by the airline, by the brand. And that to me is a really weird situation that in different ways I have been experiencing lately. And I have been telling myself, I don't know if this friendship is one worth fighting for, or two, a friendship that can continue, because we have just gotten on different highways at this point. So I think it's understanding which ones are and which one aren't. There has been times where I've had misunderstandings with friends. You guys have seen Daniela here on the show, and me and her got into one disagreement that lasted, I want to say, like 3 days. And it took me FaceTiming her and being like, we're going to talk about this because, like, what the heck? And we talked about it. We laughed about it afterwards. But when we were in that fight, she was looking at me and I was looking at her, and we were going to be like, what's up? Like, I'm not backing down. And she was like, I'm not backing down either. So now we look at it and we laugh at it, but in that we didn't disrespect each other. We didn't call each other out of our names, and we didn't dumb the other person down. There's going to be disagreements. There's going to be confusion, but that was a situation where we've always held each other at such a high respect level, in the sense of she wants me to succeed so much and I want her to succeed, and there was no form of jealousy. So it's just shifting and understanding when that is. And the last thing I want to say about this is the reality and the truth that mourning friendships sometimes hurts so much more than mourning partnerships in relationships. And I don't think it's talked about enough, but listen, the way a girlfriend can love you and knows you without you having to say anything is a special code that between women we have. I can't tell you how much happiness my friends bring me, and how every friendship that I have brings out a different side of me and brings joy in me as well as peace. And the times when I have had to mourn friendships, even if I realize that the time has ended with them, and maybe it comes back in the future, but at this moment it had ended with them, I have cried. I have felt like life was ending. Whether I showed it or not, it genuinely has hurt to a deeper level than relationships, and sometimes even more. So give yourself grace if you're mourning a friendship right now, if you're in the process of realizing that you're about to mourn a friendship, or if you're still going through the waves of it. It's okay to miss certain times. It's okay to be like, but why couldn't they apologize? Why couldn't they, change? Why couldn't they let go of that habit? Why did they have to, be jealous? Why did it have to be a competition? Like, it's okay, but give yourself grace. Stay kind, stay warm, and give yourself boundaries when it comes to future friendships, but also understand that friendships come and go, and you just got to enjoy them while they're at and be your best self. And if there's ever a problem, communication is so much of a big part of it. And friendship should be beautiful. Friendship should be light and airy. It should be fun. And it should be a sisterhood, All right. So as you guys know, we have a segment now this season called Similarly Curious. And we just got from production sent to me an audio note from one of the listeners. So let's go ahead and play it and see what they're asking when it comes to friendships.
Question to you is, I have a friend who I really, really love, and we align on a lot of different points and beliefs and, the way we do life. But oftentimes I tend to feel a bit of anxiety when I'm around her. I don't know if it's because I don't feel safe sometimes sharing what's going on in my life, or I've had some bad interactions. Do you feel like sometimes that's a big enough sign to just back away from a friendship because our bodies are telling us this person isn't a safe place for us? Or do you feel at times it's worth trying to push through that and maybe work through it? What are your thoughts?
I actually, if you've listened to this episode thus far, then you heard what I was just talking about, my own friendship recently. And when I tell you that anxiety is so real, it's so real because every time that I felt that anxiety, I have ended up finding out that the person was not talking the best of me behind closed doors, that person doesn't have that strong of loyalty towards me, or in other instances, because of their lack of in their life, whether it be in self, in career, in relationships, it would be poured onto me, and I would have to constantly minimize myself. And in minimizing myself, I would then enter the room or enter every time when I would be with them that used to be so joyful in a very way where I had to calculate what I did and didn't say, how I did and didn't act. And it would cause anxiety in me that I don't get from friendships. Every time I'm with my friends, I have a friend, Lily, that I always tell her she makes me feel like a child every time I'm with her. My worries literally leave. Whenever I'm with my friend Jamie, I always feel so loved, and she's so loved and warm. Whenever I'm with my friend Angel or Daniela, it's just chill. There's a calmness, there's a peace. If I feel anxiety, it's because I feel like I need to share them something of that's happening in my life. It's not coming from them and the way they're being. So if there's any friendship in your life right now that is bringing you anxiety when you are in the room with them, I think it is a tell sign that it's not working. Your nervous system is not liking it. Your heart, your spirit doesn't feel safe with it. And I'm not going to tell you to end a friendship because only you can make that decision. But I think you need to write down why it makes you feel that way, and what about your guys' friendship do you actually appreciate and love, and what is the con. So how you would do in a relationship, the pro and cons, do the same in the friendship, because sometimes we romanticize friendships. Sometimes we want to keep people in our life to not feel alone. So it's better to have this than nothing, right? But in reality, it's not, because what if you holding on to that friendship is limiting you from other things in your life flourishing? What if you holding on to that friendship is holding back from you being able to possibly meet people that will feed into your soul, that will plant love into you without you having to ask? And I think that's something that everybody every few months should think about, and I am a very firm believer of cleaning out my closet in my house. Every time, I don't know if this is true or not, but the full moon, every time when there's like a full moon about to happen, I literally want to cleanse out my closets in my house, living room, closet, linens, like clothing, everything. I just need to cleanse it out. And the other day I was doing it and I said, people need to learn how to cleanse out their personal life just like they do their closets. You want to do a spring cleaning? Well, let's bring the people inside your life into that aspect. Do you want to do a summer cleaning? Let's see the people around you and do the same thing, because sometimes the people in your life are the ones limiting you and you are being oblivious, saying, oh, well, they're good for this. Maybe I'll wear them here. I don't want to let go of them there because maybe when I lose 10 pounds, they'll be nicer to me. No. Whoever is not serving you in your life right now with love, affection, wanting you to be the best person and pushing you and being genuine does not need to be in your life. Plain and simple. And I think that as we get older, the accountability needs to be a lot higher, as well as people do what they want to do. So if they're being shitty people, they want to be shitty people. And that is not for you to have to carry on. And I think that's it, because I just wanted to talk to you guys about friendships. I think that friendships is such a big topic. It's so varied and there's so many sectors to it. And we all want to have friendships, you know? We all want to feel loved. We all want to feel welcomed. We all want to feel like we belong somewhere, whether it be when you're going through your single stage, your breakup stage, your marriage stage, your baby stage. You want to have a community, and it's normal, but don't force a community to happen with people that don't have genuine love for you or want to see you happy or are okay with seeing you miserable as long as they're okay, or that mock you, that make fun of you. You are not that. You are a human who is constantly trying to be your best self, I hope. And you should have people around you that are genuinely happy for you and that are pushing and striving to also be the best selves, so that you have positive mirrors around you rather than negative mirrors. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and you got something from it. And make sure to leave me audios so that I can answer in the next few episodes. And until next time, this is Similarly Different, and I'm Yanina Oyarzo. Bye.